Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my Facebook Live broadcast for Tuesday, August 8th. And today I want to talk about what happens if you hate your job and how to make it feel better, make yourself happier when you're there, and feel like you're starting to live with more purpose. So a lot of the issues that people who come to me for help, my clients, feel like they're not living a purpose. So as I'm going through sessions with them, what I like to do is focus on creating purpose before exiting, say, a job that you don't like. I don't feel that, or for me at least, what's been true for me is that I couldn't ever find my purpose and start living more fulfilled and happy until I started finding the good in things, right? So for me, and my history is that I have a degree in television production, and I was hugely passionate about that years ago. And I had fallen out of the business very soon after college. That's a longer story. I job hopped from different kinds of industries and was very, very rarely happy or feel fulfilled in any of the jobs that I had ever done. And so the last corporate job I held, I had for nearly 11 years, and there had come a time a few years into it where it was starting to kind of feel pretty dry, and I was losing enthusiasm over it. And then I realized for this video today that there were several things that I had done that had pulled me out of that unhappiness in the job, and how I eventually came to leading a fulfilled, passionate life by finding the good in that space. So I put together these 12 tips that I have actually done for myself that have been very helpful in the past for me in those jobs that I just was kind of getting stuck in and just feeling a lot of unhappiness in. Okay, so number one is to write everything down that you actually do enjoy about it. Write it down, get it out of your head, remind yourself, because I don't feel that you would be there if there was absolutely zero things that you didn't like about the job, right? So write it down. Think about the actual work that you're doing. Think about the people that you're with. Think about the benefits. You know, like even things like, are you getting a 401k, and is that money being matched by your employer? That's huge. If that doesn't, give you some kind of enjoyment within that, then just keep searching for things. And you can even ask, another tip for that is if you can't find a whole lot, start to ask your coworkers, what do you like about working here? What do you like about the environment? And they might even help you find some things that you enjoy. Okay, and keep that list as a reminder, and then pull that out when you're feeling, but again, you have to, when you're feeling sad and down about not being happy in a job, you have to make sure that you remind yourself that there are these things that you can do, and not kind of fall into, that rabbit hole of sadness or depression, right? So keep that list handy as a reminder for yourself. Okay, number two is change it up. Now, I had mentioned that I used this process in order to break habits on a broadcast that I did a few days ago, but changing it up is really helpful anywhere and anytime you're trying to change, whether it's an actual behavior or perspective on something. So do tasks a different way. Do you do certain things in an order each day? Or do you eat lunch in the same place? Or do you eat lunch with the same people every day? Whatever you're doing that's similar, try changing it up a bit, and changing the atmosphere and the environment is really, really helpful to start getting your mind out of the same space of being unhappy. Okay, number three is express yourself. Let your boss know, what are the things that concern you? Is there something really, really, on your mind that you're really unhappy with, that you feel that you can talk to your boss about or your manager about? And maybe even ask for things to change. So here's a really amazing story about something that happened to me. When I was at that job for a very long time, I was kind of feeling like, wow, what would it be like? I was thinking, I could feel like a lot happier if I could work from home. And what did I do? I just asked my boss, and she agreed to it. And I was allowed to work from home twice a week. And that changed so much of the game for me, being able to work from home 2 days a week. So just asking your boss for a thing, something that you might be able to change, or they could help you with, is enough, could be enough to really shift things. I mean, when that happened for me, so much changed my attitude with my job. Just ask. Number 4, look towards the future in the company that you're at. So remind yourself of the opportunities that might be ahead. You know, sometimes we need to, put in some time in order to change things and advance in companies, right? So always look forward and remind yourself that you will have opportunity in the future, or maybe those opportunities are actually available now, right? So go ahead and look to see what opportunities might be available in your company where you can shift the position that you're in. Number 5, be the person who influences everyone else. So a top complaint I hear about job unhappiness is the coworkers, the people that you're around. My boss or the people I'm working with are miserable, so I'm miserable too, or I don't like this person. Well, you have to be the person that influences everyone else if you'd like that to change in any way. So you coming into the space with more positivity every day, you being the one to solve the problems, you being the one to bring that energy up and uplift everyone. Like, what could you do? Could you bring in bagels in the morning for everybody? Everybody loves bagels, right? Well, I'm from New York. We all love bagels out there. I don't know. Here, they're not as popular. They're certainly not as good in California either. So, be the person that influences everybody else. Okay, number 6, get to know your coworkers better. So, are you spending so much time in only the work environment with the people that you work with, but you really don't know them very well? I remember there were times where I would start spending more time with them and got to know them, and they became very close friends of mine, and it totally changed up the work environment when you know who these people are at a deeper level. Go out to lunch more often, or go out to happy hour, go out to dinner, go out on weekends together, whatever you can do to get to know them better. Number 7, take breaks more often. That's a pretty straightforward one, right? Or change up what you're doing when you go for breaks. If you're taking a 20-minute break, can you go for a walk, or can you go for a walk at lunch to really split up your day and not be confined to a desk? I know a lot of times if I have a lot of work to do, sometimes I even forget to go even take a break, and I'll eat lunch while I'm working, which for me is not anymore much of an option. Like, I really have to take my time away from the computer. And so maybe you can do that too. Maybe that'll be something that helps you as well. Number 8, flood yourself with positivity. What does your workspace look like? If you're in an ugly gray cubicle, what can you do to make it more you and uniquely you, where you feel happier that you're in your own space? Put up positive notes, put up pictures, put up anything you can. The other thing you can do is, if it's an option, for some of you it might be an option, but can you, while you're working, listen to inspiring YouTube videos, or listen to inspiring audiobooks, or even inspiring music? If there's any way that you can bring some more positivity during the day while you're working, that is something that had always helped me in the past when I was feeling unhappy. Number 9, go above and beyond, meaning what are the tasks that you're scheduled, meant to be doing work, and what can you do that goes above and beyond that? Because sometimes I found in the past, in those jobs that I was unhappy with, that I was doing the same thing over and over and over, and I created time in my day to go above and beyond and do things that I really didn't need to do, wasn't necessary for my job. And it actually, for me, in a commission-based job that I was in, when I started doing that, what happened? I created more income for myself, because I was actually doing more work and more things that were out of the scope of my job to find sources of creating more income in that commission-based job. The other thing about this too is that I find that when I'm doing more mundane tasks and I'm not doing as much in terms of my creativity or problem solving, that is something that had always brought me down in the past before too. So when I would go above and beyond, I would do things that were a little bit more creative or helped solve problems within my company. Welcome everybody who's just joining us. Say hi in the comments. Let me know what you think about any of these tips that I'm giving. Again, this is all stuff that I've done for myself in the past when I'd be unhappy in jobs. Number 10, look at ways you can get involved within your company that might light you up. So here's another story from my past. When I was at that company for so long, they had announced that they were starting a diversity council, and they were looking for members of the council. And I applied and I got in, and actually a few months later the chair stepped down, and I was actually nominated myself to be chair, so I ended up being chair of the Diversity Council, and it was so much fun for me. Again, it took me more out of a space of it added something to my day that made me really happy and feel really proud for myself when I started putting initiatives into place that helped my company in the diversity realm that they were trying to do at the time. So is there, think about any other way you can get involved in your company. Maybe you could even start something. Like, does your company have a volunteer program? Does everybody go out at times and do volunteer things? Maybe there's initiative that you can get started. Companies love that stuff, right? Where we can get more involved in socially in the community. So maybe there's something there that can light you up. Number 11, develop your own daily practice. And I usually like to say daily spiritual practice. Mine personally was meditation, and I would do it before work. So I would do a meditation and visualization practice where I would start to see myself in work being happy, and I would express those emotions from my body, and starting the day in those emotions of being happy in work, what started to happen? I automatically felt those feelings every day, and not a whole lot had changed in the office space that I was in. So what can you do as a daily practice, whether it's journaling, getting things out, expressing, any kind of, or exercise, are you not exercising? Are you just going throughout your work day and then kind of doing something mundane when you get home? Which actually piggybacks off of the 12th tip, which is do something outside of your job that you're passionate about. I would tend to find that anytime I would get unhappy, it's because I stopped doing things outside of work that I really enjoyed. And as soon as I started doing them again, I would immediately feel better in my day-to-day in work, because there was something else I was feeding myself with emotionally that made me happy. And the bonus for this is if you're in a job or career that you're just truly unhappy with, and you're seeking purpose, and you're trying to find what your thing is in the world to do and how you can serve and bring more value in the world in your own unique way, that doing those things outside of your work that you feel like light you up or bring you passion is what eventually guides you to discover your purpose. And I mean, there's a lot more that we could go on there, but basically that's what had happened for me. I just started doing more and more and more things that I enjoyed, which eventually led me to where I am now, where I feel like I'm totally living life on purpose, and I love my job, and I love doing my other things, and I love working with clients, and it's just also so fabulous and magical. So let me know if you have any questions about anything I covered here. Let me know in the comments. Like, share this post if you think anybody else needs a boost or could use any of this information. And I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.